Hello everyone and welcome back to M.A.R.S for another nature figure review. Today we are looking at Square Enix Bring Art's Vincent Valentine based off of the 1997 Final Fantasy VII video game. Last year we did review Sephiroth here on the channel, and to be honest, the figure did not live up to my personal expectations. Aesthetically, the figure looks great, but functionality, not so much. But with Vincent, I think we have a positive turnaround for Bring Arts because this may be one of their best figures yet. With that being said, let's go ahead and take another look at the packaging of the box. I think the packaging looks great. I love how they incorporate the figure. However, it's not necessarily the rendered model of the actual action figure. Instead, it's kind of illustrated. You can tell in the legs and at the midsection, it kind of looks like it's illustrated and not the actual product on the box, which I do appreciate. And another aspect of the box I do like is that it's very simplistic, straight to the point, and collector friendly. Now, let's go ahead and see what all is inside this awesome packaging. As we look inside the box, you begin to see this figure is bare boned for the most part. You get the actual figure itself, which looks incredible. You're also going to be getting one weapon accessory, and then for your pairs of hands, you have a total of 3 pairs of hands. No additional expressions for his face, nothing like that. And then you're also going to be getting a stand for the figure with 2 hooks as well. You may think to yourself, that's a lot of plastic this figure is using up. Personally, I enjoy having so much space for the figure. Although we're not getting a lot with the figure, it just adds to the more premium collector experience that I'm looking for when purchasing premium figures. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take this figure out of the box and start off with some size comparisons. Kicking off our size comparisons, we first have Kazuya Mishima from SH Figuarts. SH Figuarts being another import manufacturer, both scaling well together, as you can see for yourself. Next, we have Jado Toys Chun-Li from Ultra Street Fighter 2. And the scaling on this one, I would argue Vincent should be a little bit taller from Chun-Li, though once you consider the fact that Chun-Li is actually a domestic release versus an import, then the scaling makes a lot more sense. Continuing on, we have Marvel Legends San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Deadpool. Again, going back, this is a domestic figure, so naturally it is going to be a little bit taller versus the import figures at the 1 scale, the 1/12 scale. And then for our last comparison, we have Storm Collectibles Ultra Street Fighter 4 Evil Ryu. This figure obviously is going to scale more because this is not a true 1/12 scale like Vincent here. This is a 7-inch figure from Storm Collectibles. Luckily, we have Storm Arena to look forward to this spring. That will bring the 1/12 scale figures to the market. Looking excited for that as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at Vincent's pairs of hands and that holy moly pistol. In the beginning of the review, I claimed this figure had 3 pairs of hands. Well, that is not true. In fact, this figure has 3 sets of hands. They're not identical in the slightest. Now, the one thing I do like about these import figures is that for the most part, they include these little brackets that you can store the hands on, and I think that's pretty cool. Though, if you've seen my Ryu review I just did of the Robotech Ryu figure, then you know that accessory is not always the best because sometimes the hand may not even grip firmly to the peg, if that makes sense. So for 3 sets of hands, I think that's a decent amount for Vincent. Now let's go ahead and move into the weapon he comes with. So here we have his pistol, and for me, it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, maybe a Desert Eagle on this barrel top here, and then at the handle, it kind of gives me like 80s musket vibes. I don't know, pretty cool concept here. Not sure if you can actually use this weapon in the game, or Vincent in the game. I'm sure you can the OG one, but not the new one that just came out, the Part 2 series of the remake. And then here's our weapon holding hand. And then to do that, you just simply slide it down. And then voila, there you go. Looks pretty cool. One of the coolest accessories, in my opinion, that we have for this character. It's the only one, right? I don't know if we could have included anything else. Maybe like some mana balls or whatever you want to call them, stones. I think that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, cool little setup for Vincent here. We've got the hands, we've got the weapon, and now we just need to look at the figure itself to see how well it just captures the essence of the character and so on like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the aesthetic of this figure. When you're looking at the aesthetic of this figure, I think Bring.Arts did a really great job of capturing that 90s nostalgicness and bringing it into the figure at a 1/12 scale. They did a great job with that. My only gripe with the Bring.Arts line and just the way they engineer their figures, it's like they're pre-sculpted and then they add the articulation later. You'll notice that on some of the figures how if you move the upper arm, it doesn't follow the seam of the clothing going down to like the forearm, for an example. And that's just like the thing that you have to take with these Bring.Art figures. For the price, I believe this figure retail is going for above $100. And then if you got it from the import site like me, I got it for, I believe, under $100. But price-wise, I think, you know, it does feel very collector-esque. Premium packaging, premium figure. It does give you that premium feel, and you are spending on, you know, the money you put into this figure is what you're going to be getting. Now, is it a practical figure? Is it a functional figure? I would say it's debatable from figure to figure, but this one so far has been really pleasant for me. So let's go ahead and jump into the articulation really briefly. And one thing I do enjoy with this particular character design is, as you can see, with his stoic pose, there he is. You really can't see his mouth, and he kind of does look mean and things like that. But when you lift the face up, you can see that bright, beautiful smile there as well. So I think that's pretty cool, how you can have so much depth just in one faceplate. It looks incredible. And then for the arms, you know, again, going back to what I was saying, these figures, for the most part, seem pre-sculpted. But articulation-wise, it's there. And then you can actually see, like right here, into the figure where there's like some glue. Not sure what happened there. Yeah, and then as we get down, well, let's see, double jointed elbows here. Wrist does rotate as well. When we get down to the midsection, this is like another kind of issue I have with these figures. You can see like this groin piece. It's just like kind of a soft plastic that just kind of hangs there and stuff. And the most part, I'd say it does its job, but you can see here, it's meant to hold or to hide these joints down here for this figure. And when you have it laying there, you can see it's not perfect, it's not seamless, and that's just another gripe with these figures. Articulation, you know, he can tuck, you got some movement in right here, he can tuck right here. You got some movement at the waist as well. And then the legs, you got to be careful with the legs, they come off very easily. And then very simple to put back as well. And I believe these are drop down legs at that. So you can see, you try to move the piece back into place and kind of see what I'm saying there. The knees are double jointed. You do have a thigh swivel as well. And you just got to be careful when you pose the figure around. See, it looks like it's, oh, no. Yeah, so this is going to be like the weakest aspect of this figure. So then for the toes, they do extend out, and you have like a minimum toe pivot there as well. And then yeah, that's going to cover it for the articulation. I would say the articulation for this figure, it's a mixed bag. Definitely the upper portion of the figure looks great and feels great, and then the lower portion, you know, you can kind of see has its weak legs there. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and conclude this review for Vincent Valentine. Vincent Valentine from Bring.Arts has been a pleasant surprise for me, especially after reviewing Sephiroth just last year. This figure has great sculpting, great shading and paint on the figure, really highlighting the red highlights of the hair, and just the overall appeal of the figure is very great from Bring Arts this time around. I do look forward to the next release being Zach. He is going to be the 10th release, and we will be reviewing him here on the channel as well. Those figures may be the last time you'll see Bring Arts here on the channel, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to review Vincent here for you all today. Please comment below and let me know, how do you feel about this figure? Are you even picking up this figure? And how many Bring Arts figures do you have, if you do have any? Make sure you check out my latest reviews, and we will see you all here on the channel very soon. But until then, thank you all for watching and have a great day. Peace.